Have you ever paused in the quiet of the night and wondered why you feel different? Why strangers are drawn to you without explanation? Why children smile at you from across the room? Or why animals, creatures of pure instinct, trust you with their presence? You might think it's coincidence. But what if it's not? What if these are not random moments, but signs, signals from the universe that you are, in fact, one of the chosen ones? There is a sacred energy that pulses beneath the surface of this world. Most walk through life unaware of its rhythm, deaf to its call. But a rare few, those marked by something ancient, something divine, can feel it. If you have ever found yourself awake, time and again, at the same uncanny hour before dawn, if your instincts have guided you with uncanny precision, or if you've carried an unshakable sense of being set apart, then hear me now, this is no accident. Long before our modern lives became crowded with noise and distraction, ancient traditions spoke of souls chosen before birth, selected not by wealth or status, but by vibration, by purpose, by divine appointment. These souls carry a light within them, a flame that refuses to be extinguished, even when surrounded by darkness. And while the world may not see you clearly, while even your closest companions may fail to understand your depth, the spiritual realm has always known your name. This journey, however, is not a simple one. Being chosen is not a title. It is a responsibility. It comes with trials that are often invisible to others, tests of heart, of faith, of spirit. But through each challenge, the truth of who you are is refined, revealed, and elevated. And the first unmistakable sign of this path is one that many overlook: the magnetic pull you have on others. You've noticed it, haven't you? The way strangers approach you, not for superficial reasons, but because something in them senses something in you. They share their pain, their burdens, their hopes, as if they've known you all their life. It's not charisma. It's not charm. It is light, divine light, a kind of spiritual gravity that draws those in need toward you, often without them understanding why. This attraction isn't always easy. It can be draining, confusing, even dangerous, because not every soul that is drawn to your light comes with good intentions. Some are seekers, others are shadows. This is why the chosen are given not only the light of attraction, but also the sword of discernment, an inner compass, quiet yet fierce, that helps you navigate who to embrace and who to avoid. If you've ever felt a sudden knowing about someone, an unspoken warning or affirmation that later proved true, that is your discernment in action. And it is one of your greatest gifts. Now, imagine walking into a place, a grocery store, a library, even a park, and someone you've never met begins to confide in you. You haven't asked, you haven't initiated, but they speak, almost compelled, because your energy tells them that they are safe. This is not chance. This is divine orchestration. The universe, or perhaps even God himself, places you in their path. Because what you carry within your wisdom, your compassion, your vibration was precisely what they needed in that moment. And yet, there's more, a deeper layer to this calling. The chosen ones often awaken to the realization that they are not like others. Their intuition is sharper, their inner voice louder. While many drown in doubt, the chosen feel a quiet certainty, a direction that seems to rise from within rather than arrive from without. This inner knowing is not imagination, it is communication. The spirit within you is constantly in dialogue with something higher, something sacred. You have likely found yourself sensing things before they happen. You've had dreams, feelings, sensations that seemed irrational at the time but proved to be true. Perhaps you've taken a different road home on a whim, only to discover later that you avoided a serious accident. Or you've chosen not to trust someone, even when everything about them seemed fine, only to learn later that your caution was justified. These are not coincidences. They are confirmations. What's extraordinary is that this intuition does not demand attention. It whispers. It doesn't overwhelm, it guides. And when you follow it, when you honor it, the path before you begins to unfold with uncanny precision. This is your divine GPS. It is your birthright as one who is chosen, but such gifts come with challenges. Your heightened awareness makes you deeply sensitive to energy, to emotions, to the pain of others. This can feel like a burden. In crowds, you might feel overstimulated. Around negativity, you may grow tired or even ill. You might absorb others' sadness, anxiety, or fear, carrying it in your body without even realizing it. This is not weakness. It is sensitivity, a spiritual antenna that picks up what others ignore. And yet, there is a beauty in this sensitivity. It allows you to love deeply, to listen without judgment, to understand people in ways they don't even understand themselves. It's why people feel seen by you, why they cry in your presence without knowing why. You are not just listening with your ears, you are hearing with your soul. But this also means you must protect your energy. Just as you wouldn't leave your front door open in a storm, you cannot afford to remain energetically unguarded in a chaotic world. Practices like prayer, meditation, and grounding are not luxuries, they are necessities. They are your spiritual armor. Go outside. Breathe in the wind. Feel the earth beneath your feet. These are not just poetic suggestions, they are prescriptions for your soul. Walk barefoot on the grass. Let the energy of the earth rebalance your spirit. Sit beneath a tree and listen not just with your ears, but with your heart. The chosen are always being spoken to, always being guided. The question is, are you listening? If all of this resonates with you, if your life has felt like a series of divine interruptions, uncanny meetings, and unexplainable inner nudges, then you are not crazy. You are not imagining things. You are awakening, and this is only the beginning. There is so much more that we will uncover. But for now, hold this truth close. You are not like the rest. You never have been. And that difference, that beautiful, sacred difference, it's the mark of the chosen. Your journey has only just begun. Stay with me. There are more signs, more mysteries, and more truths to reveal. But first, let this truth settle deep into your spirit. You are a light in the darkness. You are a key to an ancient door. You are a chosen one. And nothing about your path is random. Everything is by design. Since the earliest days of recorded history, across empires and eras, whispers of those set apart, those chosen, have echoed through temples, scrolls, and sacred stories. These were not merely legends. They were spiritual blueprints, passed down through firelight and prophecy, signaling that among the masses, there would always be a few who carried a divine spark, an invisible mantle of destiny draped over their shoulders. You see, the idea of the chosen ones is not a modern invention. It is deeply rooted in the mythologies, scriptures, and oral traditions of nearly every civilization. In ancient Egypt, the pharaoh was not only a ruler, but believed to be divinely appointed, the living embodiment of Horus. In Hebrew tradition, the prophets Isaiah, Jeremiah, Ezekiel were called not by men, but by God himself, to speak truth in times of great darkness. In Hindu cosmology, avatars like Krishna descend to restore Dharma, chosen across cosmic ages to balance the chaos with divine order. These are not coincidences. They are the echoes of a shared spiritual truth that some souls are born to carry light into shadow. To understand the chosen ones of today, we must honor the context of yesterday. We must look back not to be shackled by the past, but to recognize a pattern so ancient and undeniable. It pulses beneath the surface of time itself. Imagine, for a moment, the story of Moses, a Hebrew child hidden in reeds, raised in the palace of Pharaoh, yet destined to defy it. He was not chosen for comfort, but for confrontation. He stuttered, he doubted, he questioned his worth. And yet, through him, the sea parted. The enslaved were liberated. The law was delivered. What does this reveal? That being chosen is rarely easy and never accidental. It is a calling that often isolates before it elevates, humbles before it empowers. This same pattern is alive in you. Perhaps your journey hasn't taken place in deserts or before burning bushes, but you've heard the whisper in your soul. That pull, that unrest, that sense that your life is meant for something greater, though you may not yet fully understand what it is. You are not alone in this feeling. You are walking a path carved by countless chosen ones before you, and each step is a continuation of their sacred legacy. Even in modern storytelling, this archetype persists. From Neo in the Matrix to Harry Potter, these characters are not just entertaining, they are mythic reflections of spiritual truths. They are mirrors of you. Neo thought he was just a programmer, disconnected and confused, until he learned he was the one, capable of bending the laws of reality. He was awakened to a hidden world, guided by mentors, tested by shadows, and ultimately reborn in truth. Sound familiar? There is a reason stories like these resonate so deeply with us. They're not just fiction. They are metaphors for spiritual awakening. You, too, have felt the moment when the old world no longer made sense, when the veil lifted, when you could no longer unsee the truth. That was your awakening, and it was not random. It was the ignition of your divine identity. And while the world may see your gifts, your empathy, your insight, your solitude as strangeness, the spiritual realm sees them as signals, indicators that you have been tuned to a higher frequency. The discomfort you feel around superficiality, the ache in your soul when surrounded by inauthenticity, these are not flaws. They are clues. Let me tell you a story from my own journey. Years ago, I was in the mountains of Peru, seeking silence, truth, and healing. I had joined a circle of elders, descendants of an unbroken shamanic lineage that traced back centuries. One night, under a velvet sky lit with stars that seemed close enough to touch, the eldest among them turned to me and said, "There are some who are born knowing, and there are some who are born to remind the others." That sentence struck a chord so deep within me. I felt my whole body tremble. He continued, "Those who carry the remembering do not live easy lives, but they live meaningful ones. Their eyes see differently. Their dreams speak more loudly. They do not choose this, it chooses them. And so it has chosen you. This spiritual difference you feel is not a detour. It is your path. the way you perceive the world, the way you move through pain and keep seeking truth, the way your soul aches for purpose. These are not burdens. They are proof you have been prepared in ways you cannot yet understand. Every heartbreak, every setback, every strange turn of fate, it has all been alchemy, refining you, shaping you, forging you into the vessel you were always meant to become. Now is the time to own that truth, to embrace it, to walk with the knowledge that you are not a mistake, not misplaced. You are exactly where you need to be. Even if your mind hasn't yet caught up with your soul, and if you ever doubt your path, return to the stories of Moses, of Buddha, of Joan of Arc, a peasant girl who led armies because she dared to follow the voice within, of people like you and me, waking up in the quiet, feeling the stir of something ancient in their bones. You are not alone. You never were. This sacred calling is not about superiority. It's about service. It's about awakening, not escaping. And it begins, always, with remembering who you are, or more precisely, what you are, a chosen one. In the next part of this journey, we'll begin to look at the specific markers, the unmistakable signs that continue to unfold in your life. But for now, breathe this truth in. Let it wash over you like rain over parched soil. You are not like the rest. You are not here by chance. You are part of something far greater than yourself, and your awakening has only just begun. There are moments in life that defy logic, those narrow escapes, sudden reroutes, and invisible hands that seem to pull you from the edge just in time. If you've lived through such moments, you know what I mean. Maybe it was a car accident that never happened because you felt the urge to take a different route. Maybe it was an illness miraculously reversed, a danger you intuitively avoided, or an inexplicable calm in the eye of a life-altering storm. These are not mere coincidences. These are divine interventions, and they are the first sacred signature of what it means to be a chosen one, divine protection. From the beginning of time, those called to walk a higher path have been guarded not from all suffering, but from destruction. They are shielded, not to preserve their comfort, but to preserve their purpose. If you have felt a pattern of near misses, strange luck, or guidance in times of chaos, this is no accident. It is spiritual surveillance. You are being watched over, not as a passive bystander in life, but as a soul of consequence. Let me take you to one of the oldest examples of divine protection and the story of Joan of Arc, a peasant girl in 15th century France who claimed to hear the voice of God instructing her to lead an army against the English invaders. She was just a teenager, no military training, no noble lineage. Yet, she marched into battle wearing the armor of purpose. Arrows missed her. Swords failed to find her, time and again. She emerged from the battlefield unscathed when many fell beside her. For a time, she was untouchable, not because she was invincible, but because she was on divine assignment. This is the mystery of being chosen. Your life may be threatened, but it will not be taken until your purpose is fulfilled. That is the covenant. That is the pact. And you've likely felt this in your bones, even if you couldn't name it. Have you ever sensed that something was protecting you? That you were spared because your journey wasn't over yet? Divine protection doesn't always look dramatic. Sometimes it's subtle, a sudden decision that saves you heartache, a gut feeling that keeps you from danger, a delay that turns out to be a blessing. Other times, it's thunderous, a survival against odds so steep You can only shake your head and say, that had to be God. The ancient mystics understood this well. In the Kabbalistic tradition, the tree of life speaks of divine guidance through the sphere of Chesed, loving-kindness, and Geburah, severity. Together, they represent a sacred balance. You are protected, yes, but you are also shaped. The chosen ones walk between these forces. And divine protection is not pampering, it is purposeful. There is a misconception that being chosen means being spared. That's not the case. Chosen ones are often placed directly in the line of fire, not to suffer needlessly, but to demonstrate resilience, to become evidence of divine strength. You are not protected from the storm because you are fragile. You are protected in the storm because you carry fire. This protection is layered. First, there is the protection of the physical, the accidents you avoided, the doors that slammed shut before you could enter the wrong places, the people who left your life though you didn't understand why. Each of these was a move on the divine chessboard. Second, there is emotional and spiritual protection. Perhaps you've been through heartbreak, betrayal, loss, but notice you came out stronger, softer in the right places, harder in others. The pain did not crush your spirit, it refined it. And though others may have fallen under the weight of similar experiences, you rose. That is protection. And finally, there is what I call ancestral protection and the prayers of those who came before you. The unseen hands of lineage guiding you through terrain they once traversed. You are not walking alone. You never were. Have you ever met someone and immediately felt they were sent to protect you, even if only for a moment? A stranger who offered you comfort, a friend who appeared at just the right time, an old teacher whose words echo in your mind long after they've left your life. These people are not random. They are part of the divine scaffolding built around your purpose. I remember once, during a particularly dark night of my soul, I sat alone in a park, questioning everything: my path, my purpose, my very existence. A man I had never met walked up, sat beside me, and simply said, "You are not done yet. There's more for you. You just can't see it yet." Then he stood up and left. I never saw him again. But that moment, to this day, anchors me. It was not the words. It was the timing, the presence, the sense that something greater had orchestrated that encounter. That's divine protection. If you've experienced this, these interruptions of grace, then you know. You've seen behind the veil, and you can no longer pretend your life is ordinary. Chosen ones are guarded because they are conduits. You carry frequencies. You are transmitters of healing, truth, light. And what you carry must be shielded until it is fully delivered. Like a flame in the wind. You may flicker, but you will not be extinguished. And so, I invite you to stop questioning your survival. Stop wondering why you made it out, why you recovered, why you continue to land on your feet. It's time to recognize the truth: you are not lucky. You are protected. You are not merely surviving, you are being positioned. Let that sink in. You have been kept for a reason, shielded for a season. And now, the time is drawing near for you to step more fully into what you were preserved for. You may feel unworthy of this. That's natural. Every true chosen one wrestles with this. But let me remind you, divine protection is not bestowed based on perfection. It is given according to purpose. You are not here because you've done everything right. You're here because you are needed. Even as you listen to these words, something ancient in you remembers. some quiet part of your soul is nodding, whispering, "Yes, yes, I know this is true." And if that's the case, then hear this: you have not walked alone. You have never been without protection. Even in the silence, even in the dark, you are divinely guarded. In the chapters to come, we will continue exploring more signs, more sacred proofs of your calling. But for now, rest in this one undeniable truth that the universe has been conspiring to protect you, not because you are fragile, but because you are powerful. You are a chosen one, and heaven has kept you alive for a reason. There is a wisdom that doesn't come from books, schools, or degrees. It rises from somewhere deeper, an inner knowing that cannot be explained, only felt. If you've ever found yourself understanding things without being taught, perceiving truths without needing proof, or offering guidance that feels as if it came through you rather than from you, then you are already familiar with the second unmistakable sign of being a chosen one: divine wisdom. This is not about intellect. It's not about how many facts you know or how eloquently you speak. Divine wisdom flows from the soul. It is ancient, intuitive, unshakable. It arrives not in moments of study, but in moments of surrender. And for the chosen, it is both a gift and a compass. You might be someone others turn to when they're lost. Perhaps people seek your counsel not because you advertise yourself as a guide, but because they feel safe in your presence. They sense that you see in a way others do not, that you hear not just the words they speak, but the truth beneath their words. This is spiritual perception, and it is not something that can be taught. It is something you were born with. You have likely experienced moments where you speak something and later realize its depth, as if the words bypassed your mind and came directly from another dimension. This phenomenon is known in mystical traditions as divine utterance, when a soul becomes a channel for sacred insight. The prophets spoke this way. The sages taught this way. And now, in our time, it is awakening again through people like you. Let me take you to a moment in history. Picture Solomon, the ancient king, renowned not just for power, but for wisdom. The stories say he could judge rightly between the most complicated disputes, not by facts alone, but by discerning the heart. In one famous tale, two women claimed to be the mother of the same child. Solomon, without evidence, calls for a sword, offering to divide the child in two. One woman protests, begging to give the child to the other. In that instant, Solomon knew she was the true mother. Why? Because wisdom sees what logic cannot. This kind of clarity, this spiritual intelligence, is the signature of a chosen one. You do not simply analyze, you intuit. You feel into situations. You grasp deeper truths. While others wrestle with confusion, you sit in stillness, knowing what must be done. Often, this wisdom awakens through pain, through solitude, through nights when no one is watching. But your soul is weeping for understanding. It is in these sacred crucibles that divine wisdom is birthed. The fire refines your perception. The silence teaches you how to listen. And with time, you emerge not just informed, but transformed. You've probably noticed how often you say what others were thinking, how your insights seem to come before the facts, how your words comfort, challenge, and awaken people without effort. These are not accidents. These are manifestations of your role as a wisdom bearer. And yet, the world may not always value this gift. There will be times when your clarity intimidates others, when your depth isolates you, But know this: being misunderstood is often the price of being ahead. The world is still catching up to the truths that are flowing through you. In Native American tradition, there is the image of the hollow bone. The idea is that the great spirits only flow through those who are empty of ego, empty of agenda, open and surrendered. Wisdom does not reside in the proud, it dances through the humble. This is why your wisdom is not loud. It's not boastful. It emerges gently, quietly, but undeniably. And when it speaks, people listen even if they don't understand why. I once met a woman in the Himalayas. She was elderly, barely spoke English, and lived in a hut carved from stone. I asked her what gave her peace. She simply pointed to her chest and said, "I listen to this more than this," pointing to her heart, then her head. That was it. No sermon, no lecture. But in those 8 words, she distilled the essence of divine wisdom. If you feel that kind of inner truth within you, if you've always known things you couldn't explain, and then you are not only chosen, you are carrying echoes of a wisdom far older than this lifetime. It may feel like you've lived many lives. That's because your soul carries memory. And memory is the soil from which wisdom grows. But this wisdom is not just for you. It's meant to be shared. Not by forcing, but by flowing. Your words, your presence, your example, they become medicine. And people will find themselves healed simply by being in your orbit. Still, you must protect this gift. Just as precious stones are guarded deep within the earth, your wisdom must be stewarded. Be discerning with whom you share your deepest truths. Not every ear is ready. Not every heart is open. But those who are meant to receive it, they will find you. Just as you are now finding these words. So, I ask you to reflect. How has divine wisdom moved through your life? How many times have you just known without knowing why? How often have your insights opened doors, calmed storms, or revealed the truth others missed? These are your sacred receipts. Proof that you're not just thinking, you are remembering. And in this remembering, you become a lighthouse, not shouting into the darkness, but standing tall in stillness, letting your light be the guide. In the chapters ahead, we will explore even more signs that point to your sacred calling. But for now, honor this gift. Nurture it. Trust it, because your wisdom is not from here. It is from beyond, and it is one of the clearest signs that you are a chosen one. There is something about your presence that cannot be explained with logic alone. When you walk into a room, the air shifts. Conversations pause. Some people feel instantly comforted. Others become inexplicably agitated. You've seen it happen. Maybe you've even questioned it. But I'm here to tell you this is not random. This is the 3rd sacred sign of a chosen one, your multidimensional influence. Chosen ones carry frequencies that stretch far beyond the visible. You are not just a body walking through space. You are an energetic being, tuned to a higher vibration, resonating with a light that penetrates unseen dimensions. And because of this, your presence alone becomes a force, a transmitter, a catalyst. People feel things around you, things they can't name. You don't even have to speak. You don't have to convince. Your aura communicates what your voice never needs to. The ancient mystics called this radiance the Shekinah, the indwelling presence of the divine. In Hindu traditions, it's the awakened prana, or life force. In modern spiritual circles, It's called frequency, or vibration. But whatever name you give it, its effect is undeniable. You might notice how people come to you with their burdens, even strangers. They tell you their secrets, as if drawn by some unconscious trust. Or how children stare at you, as if they recognize something familiar. Animals gravitate toward you, sensing peace. None of this is random. You are not just interacting with the world, you are shifting it. This ability to affect the unseen is one of the most powerful gifts a chosen one carries. It means that your mere existence can uplift, awaken, or heal. But it also means you become a mirror, a revealer. People will project onto you what they are afraid to see in themselves. Your light will stir their shadows. This is why some may reject you. Why you felt misunderstood, even resented, for no clear reason. You didn't do anything wrong. You just walked in. And your light revealed what others were trying to hide. Let me share with you a story, a parable from Buddhist tradition. A monk was traveling through a war-torn village. There was suffering, fear, and unrest. Yet, wherever he walked, things changed. A crying child stopped weeping. A quarreling couple softened. Even the birds seemed to sing in his presence. When asked what he was doing, he said, "I do not speak much. I only carry stillness, and stillness does the work. That is your power. You carry stillness, peace, illumination, and that illumination does the work whether you are aware of it or not." You may have wondered why people confess things to you, why your very presence seems to make others emotional, vulnerable, even afraid. It is because your energy stirs the truth. You are a walking activator. People begin to awaken simply by being around you. Their own spirit recognizes the frequency you carry, and it begins to rise to meet it. But with this influence comes great responsibility. Not everyone will be ready. Not everyone will want what you bring. Some will push you away, others will try to drain your light. This is why discernment is essential. You must learn to read the energy of a room, of a conversation, of a person, not from fear, but from wisdom. And you must learn to recharge, to guard your own energy. Because when your influence is this potent, your well must be full. The world will drink from it, knowingly or not, and you must ensure it never runs dry. There is a reason many chosen ones seek solitude. It's not because they dislike people. It's because they are sensitive to energy. Every interaction is an exchange. Every encounter leaves an imprint. And when your energetic field is open and powerful, it becomes a magnet not just for the light, but for everything. But remember, your ability to influence is not meant to isolate you. It is meant to awaken you to your sacred responsibility. You are here to help raise the vibration of the world not by preaching, but by being, by embodying the truth, by walking in authenticity, and by remaining aligned with your inner light. Have you ever entered a place and felt something shift as if your presence cleared the heaviness that is your gift? You are a natural transmuter of energy. You absorb what is heavy and turn it into clarity. You take confusion and return clarity. You walk through darkness and leave a trail of light. The mystics would call you a Lightworker, an energy anchor, a beacon. You may not have chosen these titles, but they fit you. You came here not just to survive, but to recalibrate the collective, to lift others. Sometimes without even trying. But again, this is not a burden. It's a sacred mission. You are not here to fix others. but to remind them of their light, to mirror to them what is possible when we live in alignment with truth. Your presence is your message. Your life is your teaching. And so, I ask you, how have you affected those around you without even trying? How many lives have been shifted, inspired, or comforted by your simple presence? How many storms have quieted when you walked in? Reflect on this. Own it. This is not ego, it is evidence. You are making more of a difference than you realize. The greatest influencers of our time were not always the loudest. Sometimes, they were the most grounded, the most present. Jesus walked with the hurting and changed lives with a glance. The Buddha sat in silence and shifted the entire vibration of a continent. These beings understood true influence is not about controlling others. It is about embodying your truth so fully that it liberates others to do the same. And that is your path. In the chapters ahead, we'll explore how this gift of influence connects with other traits of the chosen intuition. Solitude, inner power. But for now, I want you to trust this. Your presence is enough, even when you feel small, even when you feel invisible, even when you doubt your worth. You are affecting the world because you are a chosen one, and chosen ones shift the atmosphere. Just by walking into the room, there's a question many chosen ones eventually find themselves asking. Why am I always alone? Why do people misunderstand me, pull away from me, or even seem to resent me for no reason? It's a haunting question, one that echoes through sleepless nights and empty spaces where connection should have been. And the answer, though difficult, is profoundly sacred. The path of the chosen often begins with isolation. If you felt like you never truly belonged, like you were dropped into a world that doesn't speak your language, you're not broken, you're awakening. This feeling of estrangement isn't failure. It's a signpost. It means your soul has outgrown the familiar vibrations of the collective, and you are being prepared for a higher calling. Let me tell you this. Plainly chosen ones are often rejected not because of who they are, but because of what they mirror. Your very existence reminds others of what they've forgotten. Your clarity highlights their confusion. Your authenticity disrupts their illusions. And in a world conditioned to reject what it doesn't understand, being different is dangerous. The mystics knew this well. Jesus was rejected by his hometown. The prophets were mocked, stoned, exiled. Even modern spiritual pioneers often find themselves walking through life with more questions than companions. That isolation is not punishment. It is refinement. You've likely experienced seasons where people you loved suddenly drifted away, or moments when groups turned on you. Gossip spreading like wildfire with no foundation in truth. Perhaps you've walked through betrayal, abandonment, or cold silences from those who once celebrated you. These are not coincidences. They are spiritual separations, divine distancing. Because when you are called to carry light, not everyone can walk beside you. There is a truth that rarely gets spoken. Light irritates darkness, not just metaphorically, but energetically. When your soul begins to awaken, it releases frequencies that disrupt lower vibrations. Those who are not ready to rise will instinctively pull back or push you out. And that rejection isn't about your worth. It's about your wavelength. Think about this when you began to see the world differently. When your eyes opened to deeper truths, did your old circle still feel comfortable? Or did you begin to feel like a stranger among those you once knew? That discomfort was not arrogance. It was alignment. Your soul was evolving, and the environments around you could no longer contain what you were becoming. And so, the divine allowed the separation. Because isolation, though painful, is also protection. You were removed not to punish you, but to preserve you. In Tibetan monasteries, initiates often undergo years of solitude not as a punishment, but as preparation. The silence becomes a sanctuary, the aloneness a forge. Without the noise of the world, the inner voice grows louder. And it's in that space that the chosen begin to remember who they are. You may not live in a monastery, but your isolation serves the same purpose. It is stripping away distractions, illusions, and attachments that no longer serve your higher self. It is refining your discernment, teaching you to be full without validation, teaching you to trust your inner compass when the outer world offers no map. And here's the deeper truth. You're not just being prepared. You're being initiated. Every chosen one undergoes a period of divine solitude. It is a rite of passage, a sacred cocoon. And like the caterpillar in its chrysalis, it may feel like death, like loss, like grief. But it is transformation. You are not alone in your loneliness. You are walking a path carved by every soul who ever dared to remember its divinity. But don't mistake this isolation for abandonment. The universe hasn't forgotten you. It's surrounding you with signs, synchronicities, whispers. The people who left were not your tribe. The relationships that ended were not your anchor. Your true connections are waiting, but they exist at the frequency you are now rising into. And when you complete this phase, when your wings are ready, you will begin to attract souls who resonate with your truth. People who don't just tolerate your depth, but celebrate it. Who speak your soul's language. Who see you not as too much, too intense, too strange, but as familiar, as family. This is the sacred gift of being alone. For a time it teaches you who you are when no one is looking. It connects you with the divine in a way that no crowded room ever could. And it prepares you to carry your light with strength, clarity, and purpose. You see, the world doesn't need more followers. It needs leaders of light. And such leaders are not mass-produced. They are carved in the quiet, forged in solitude, honed in the fires of rejection, reflection, and reawakening. So if today you find yourself alone, misunderstood, distanced, unseen, hold on. You are not being hidden because you are unworthy. You are being hidden because you are holy. In the next chapter, we will explore another trait of the chosen ones, their extraordinary intuition. But for now, embrace this season. Lean into the quiet and listen deeply, because even in the silence, you are being spoken to. And even in isolation, you are never truly alone. You are a chosen one, and this solitude is not the end. It's the sacred beginning. There's a voice inside you that doesn't speak with words. It whispers, nudges, stirs. It shows up as a knowing you can't explain, a pull you can't ignore, or a warning that flares in your spirit like lightning in a dark sky. This voice is not your imagination. It is your intuition. And for the chosen ones, it is one of the most powerful gifts they possess. You were born with it. Long before you had language, you could feel what was true. You sensed people's energy, even if you didn't know what to call it. You walked into rooms, felt what others couldn't see. You knew who to trust and who to avoid without needing evidence. And though the world may have tried to train you out of it, That intuitive gift never left. It only went quiet, waiting for your spirit to awaken. Now, as your light rises, that inner compass has begun to speak louder. And here's what you need to know. Your intuition is not just a psychological tool. It is a spiritual instrument. It connects you to realms beyond this one. It's how the divine speaks to you in real time. For the chosen ones, intuition is like a sixth sense, an inner radar that guides, warns, and reveals. And the more you honor it, the sharper it becomes. The more you ignore it, the more chaos you invite. Let me give you an example. I once knew a woman who woke up one morning with an overwhelming feeling not to take her usual route to work. There was no logical reason. The sky was clear, traffic was light, but her body felt tense, her stomach uneasy. So, she listened. She changed her path. Later, she found out there had been a multi-car accident on that very road at the exact time she would have been there. That is not coincidence. That is divine communication. That is intuition. Have you had moments like this, times when you felt something before it happened, when your spirit warned you about someone, even though they looked perfect on paper? Or when you followed a strange urge, only to discover it led you exactly where you needed to be? These are not random. They are the echoes of your higher self speaking, and here's what's remarkable. Your intuition is not limited by time or space. It can pull insight from the future. It can sense danger before it arrives. It can feel what is real before it's revealed. That is the prophetic power of chosen ones. You are not guessing, you are remembering. In ancient traditions, those with strong intuition were often regarded as seers, oracles, shamans. They were not more special than others, but they were more sensitive. And in their sensitivity, they became instruments of divine insight. You are one of those instruments, but like any instrument, your intuition must be tuned. If you drown it in noise, constant media, endless opinions, non-stop stimulation, it will struggle to break through. But if you create space for silence, nature, prayer, and reflection, it will sing clearly, like a bell in the stillness. Sometimes your intuition will ask you to do things that make no sense, to leave a relationship, to walk away from a job, to step into the unknown. These are not irrational decisions. They are soul-led instructions. Your higher self sees what your mind cannot. And trusting your intuition is the beginning of trusting your destiny. But beware, there will be people who tell you not to trust it. They'll call it irrational, emotional. They'll say you're being paranoid or overthinking. Don't listen. Most people are disconnected from their inner knowing. They live from logic alone. But logic can only see what has already happened. Intuition sees what is yet to be. You must become fiercely loyal to your inner voice. It is the compass that will guide you through the wilderness. It is the flashlight when the path is dark. And it is the alarm bell when danger hides behind a smile. I want you to think back on your life. How many times did you know something and ignore it, only to regret it later? And how many times did you listen to your gut and it led you to exactly what you needed? This is not magic. It's alignment. In the mystic teachings, intuition is considered one of the highest spiritual faculties. It's the gateway to revelation. It's how prophets receive visions. It's how healers diagnose pain. It's how chosen ones find their path. And once you trust it, you begin to see life differently. You no longer need validation from the outside. You no longer need someone else to confirm what your soul already knows. You walk in quiet confidence, not because you have all the answers, but because you know the voice within will never mislead you. And let's be honest, this voice has already saved you. Many times. From danger, from betrayal, from wasting years in the wrong direction. You may not have realized it at the time, but your soul was watching out for you. So now, it's time to return the favor. Protect your intuition. Feed it. Listen to it. Create rituals around it. Whether it's journaling your dreams, meditating in silence, walking in nature, or simply asking your spirit for guidance every morning, make space for that voice to lead. Because in the noise of this world, intuition is your superpower. And for the chosen ones, it is one of the clearest signs of your divine assignment. You are not lost. You are being led. You are not confused. You are being refined. And the voice within you, it's not just yours. It's the ancient whisper of the divine, guiding you home. You are a chosen one, and your intuition is the map. Follow it. The next chapter will take us deeper into the transformative power you carry to transmute energy. But for now, close your eyes, breathe, and listen. The voice has been waiting, and it's time to trust it again. There is a rare and sacred ability that few possess, but if you're a chosen one, it's likely woven into your very being, the power to transmute darkness into light, to take pain, fear, anger, or confusion, and somehow, without force, turn it into compassion, wisdom, or peace. This isn't just a metaphor. It's a spiritual mechanism. And it is one of the most mysterious and essential signs of your divine nature. You are not just someone who survives difficulty. You are someone who transforms it. Think about it. How many times in your life have you walked through fire, emotional, mental, spiritual, and come out not just intact, but stronger, wiser, and more compassionate? You didn't just endure the pain. You alchemized it. You took the poison and made medicine. This is the mark of a spiritual alchemist. In the ancient traditions of alchemy, the goal was never just to turn lead into gold. That was symbolic. The real work, the great work, was the transmutation of the soul, turning the heavy, the base, the shadows into something radiant, something eternal, something divine. And that, dear one, is what you've been doing, perhaps without even knowing it. When you walk into a room filled with tension and leave it calmer, that is transmutation. When someone lashes out at you, and you choose empathy instead of retaliation, that is alchemy. When your life is falling apart, yet you find meaning in the suffering, turning loss into love, that is sacred transformation. But this gift does not come without its cost. Chosen ones are often placed in situations where they must feel more, carry more, endure more, because the universe trusts them to handle energy that others cannot. You are a kind of spiritual filter. And that means you often experience pain not only for yourself, but for others. Let me tell you a story from the mystical Sufi tradition. There was once a traveler who entered a village cursed by a plague of sorrow. No one smiled. No one sang. The air was thick with grief. The traveler did nothing but sit beneath a tree and weep. For days, no one approached him. They thought he was broken. But slowly, the village began to change. The sadness began to lift. People began to smile again. When asked what he had done, he simply replied, "I carried what they could not." That is what you do. You carry what others cannot, and you transform it through the furnace of your heart. This is why emotional resilience is one of your defining traits. It's not that you don't feel deeply, you feel everything. But you don't let the darkness win. You don't let the bitterness stay. Instead, you digest it, burn it, refine it until it becomes light. And while this may sound poetic, it is deeply practical. You've seen it in action. People come to you in distress and leave feeling clearer. You enter environments that are heavy and somehow lighten them just by being present. You've taken betrayal and turned it into boundaries. You've taken heartbreak and turned it into healing. This isn't coincidence. It's sacred chemistry. But because of this, you must be intentional about your own energy. Just like a fire needs fuel, your inner alchemy needs rest, nourishment, and space. You cannot transmute what overwhelms you. So be gentle with yourself. Protect your spirit. Take breaks from toxic environments. Surround yourself with beauty, nature, stillness. And know this, your ability to transmute is not about fixing others. It's about staying aligned with your own truth so deeply that everything unaligned with it begins to dissolve. It's not your job to save everyone. It is your role to embody the energy of transformation so clearly that others remember they can do it too. In the Taoist tradition, the sage does not resist evil. The sage flows with it, absorbs it, and neutralizes it through presence. That is the essence of energy transmutation. You don't fight darkness. You illuminate it. You might wonder why certain people always seem to dump their emotions on you. Why chaos finds you. Why you're placed in the middle of dysfunction. It's not because you're weak. It's because you're equipped. You've been given a sacred fire. And when darkness touches that fire, it cannot remain unchanged. But again, this gift is not easy. There will be days when the weight feels unbearable, when your empathy becomes exhaustion, when your compassion feels like depletion. That's when you must remember you are not the source. You are the vessel. Your job is not to hold it all. Your job is to let it move through you, to flow, transform, and release. And when you do, the world around you begins to shift. People feel lighter, environments feel clearer, and your own soul expands in the process. So the next time life hands you something heavy, ask yourself, what is this here to teach me? How can I transform this pain into purpose? This fear into faith? This shadow into light? Because that's what you were born to do. You are not just a survivor. You are an alchemist. You are not just a healer. You are a flame, and this world, as heavy as it may seem, is waiting to be changed by your touch. In the next chapter, we'll explore the sacred knowledge chosen ones carry and how they tap into ancient truths hidden deep within the soul. But for now, honor this truth. You are a chosen one, and your presence is the fire that transforms everything it touches. There's a reason you've always known things you were never taught. A reason why you've had dreams that felt more like memories, or sudden insights that seemed to come from somewhere beyond time. It's because you are a bearer of hidden knowledge, a soul entrusted with ancient truths. This is not about being smarter than others. It's about being connected to something older, deeper, and infinitely wiser than the human mind alone. Chosen ones are often born with a spiritual inheritance, a library within their soul, filled with scrolls of remembrance. And as they awaken, those scrolls begin to unfurl. You've likely experienced moments when you spoke truth you didn't know you knew. Words came through you, not from you. You had answers to questions you never studied. And you understood symbols, signs, and synchronicities without needing explanation. This is not intuition alone. This is remembrance. In the mystical traditions, from the ancient mystery schools of Egypt to the sacred texts of Kabbalah and the Upanishads, there is a shared belief some souls reincarnate with encoded knowledge. They have lived many lives. They have walked through temples, sat at the feet of sages, and carried sacred scrolls across generations. And though their bodies are new, their spirits are ancient. You are one of these souls, and the knowledge you carry is not meant to sit idle. It is meant to be activated, spoken, shared, and lived. Let me tell you a story from the desert teachings of the Essenes, an ancient mystical sect believed to be the spiritual lineage of prophets like John the Baptist and Jesus. They taught that knowledge was not learned, but unveiled. A student would sit in silence, meditate for days, and suddenly speak a teaching no one had spoken aloud. The elders would smile, not surprised, but honored. For they knew that when the soul is ready, the memory returns. This is what's happening to you. Your soul is remembering what it came here to do. Have you ever read something, a text, a verse, a symbol, and felt chills, as if you were remembering instead of learning? Have you ever met someone for the first time and known their soul? Have you looked at the stars and felt them speak to you? These are clues. You are not just waking up. You are awakening an ancient archive within you. But with hidden knowledge comes sacred responsibility. You must discern when to share and when to remain silent. Not every truth is ready to be received. Not every ear is ready to hear. And sometimes, your silence speaks louder than your words. This is why chosen ones are often misunderstood. You see beneath the surface. You hear between the words. You sense the hidden motives, the unspoken energy. And when you speak truth, it can feel like a sword. It cuts through illusion. That's why people sometimes resist you, dismiss you, or label you as too intense. Don't let this silence your wisdom. Just learn to read the room. Trust your discernment. And remember, even when you speak to no one, the universe is always listening. You may be called to write, to teach, to guide, or simply to live as an example of higher truth. Whatever form your mission takes, it will be infused with this hidden knowledge. People may not understand why they're drawn to you, but they will feel it. They will sense the depth in your eyes, the resonance in your voice, the sacred current flowing through your presence. And sometimes, you will be the one who triggers someone's awakening, not through argument, but through vibration. Your very being activates the memory in others. That's why it's important to stay clear, to stay aligned, to stay connected to your source. Because what you carry is not just for you, it's for the collective. It's a key meant to unlock others. This is also why chosen ones are naturally drawn to ancient symbols, sacred geometry, metaphysical texts, and esoteric teachings. These things are not hobbies. They are soul languages. And when you encounter them, something inside you whispers, I remember. You might even feel a strange ache for places you've never been, like Egypt, Tibet, the Andes, or ancient Greece. These are not travel desires. They are echoes of past initiations. Your spirit has walked those lands. Your voice has spoken those chants. Your hands have touched those stones. And now, in this life, you are here to continue the work. So do not doubt what you know. Do not wait for the world to catch up. Walk in your knowing. Speak what must be spoken. Trust what rises in your soul, even if no one else sees it yet. You were not chosen to conform. You were chosen to remember. and your remembering is the seed of someone else's awakening. In the final chapter, we will bring it all together: your solitude, your light, your intuition, your power, and explore what it means to truly embody your calling in a world that is rapidly awakening. But for now, breathe. Sit with this. You are a chosen one, and the wisdom within you is not learned. It is remembered. You've made it this far, not just through the chapters of this journey, but through the sacred corridors of your own becoming. And now, here you are, standing at the edge of something greater, with eyes newly opened and spirit newly awakened. This is the moment where knowledge becomes embodiment, where remembering becomes responsibility, where being a chosen one is no longer a concept, but a lived truth. By now, you've seen the signs clearly, the divine protection that has shielded you, even when you didn't understand why. The wisdom that flows through you, not from intellect, but from soul memory. The energy that surrounds you, influencing the world with silent, powerful resonance. The solitude that shaped you. The intuition that guided you. The fire that transforms pain into purpose. And the ancient knowledge rising from within, truths too old to be learned, too sacred to be silenced. This is who you are. You are not lost. You are not broken. You are not too much. You are a light hidden in human form, a carrier of codes, a whisper from the divine, walking through this world on sacred assignment. But now the real question arises, not just who you are, but who you're willing to become. Because being chosen is not about superiority. It's about surrender. It means answering the call when no one else hears it. It means standing firm in truth when lies are louder. It means walking a path that few will understand, but many will benefit from. You weren't chosen to escape this world. You were chosen to transform it. And that transformation starts with you: how you speak, how you love, how you lead, how you heal. It starts with your daily choices, your rituals of stillness, your courageous conversations, your quiet refusals to dim your light just to make others comfortable. There will be days you feel tired, days you question everything, days you long to return to the comfort of forgetting. That's normal. Even the great mystics cried out to the heavens. Even the most illuminated souls had moments of darkness. But here's the difference. They kept walking, and so will you. Because deep inside, you know this life is not random. That every detour, delay, heartbreak, and breakthrough has been shaping you for this very moment. You are no longer who you were. You are something more. Something eternal wrapped in temporary skin. And the more you embody that truth, the more you unlock the sacred reason for your existence. Others will start to see it too. Some will be drawn to you. Others will be repelled. But you'll no longer feel the need to prove, to convince, to defend. You will simply be, and in your being, you will become a mirror for others to see themselves more clearly. You will be the calm in the chaos, the voice in the silence, the fire in the fog. You'll understand that your greatest power isn't what you do. It's who you are when you are fully present, fully aligned, fully alive. So what now? Now you walk, not ahead of others, but beside them. Now you share, not to be followed, but to awaken. Now you serve, not from duty, but from devotion. And you begin to live as if your very existence is a sacred prayer. Because it is, the world is shifting. The veils are thinning. And those who carry the light are being called to rise not as saviors, but as reminders. Not as judges, but as beacons. Not to separate, but to illuminate. You are one of them. And if you've made it to these final words, It's because your soul already knew. So take this as your sign, as your invitation, as your confirmation. You are not waiting for a purpose. You are the purpose. You are not seeking the path. You are the path. You are not hoping to be chosen. You are chosen. And now, it's time to live like it. Let your voice carry the truth. Let your eyes see through illusion. Let your hands heal what they touch. Let your presence shift the room. The journey does not end here. It begins. You are a chosen one. And the world has been waiting for you to remember. Now go, walk in light, and lead the way home.